Hello and welcome to Adventures in Venueland, an EVMC podcast. Join us for this all-access pass backstage and behind the scenes with some of the brightest minds that cross the scope of the live event industry. I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. We'll introduce you to incredible guests who journey with us as we dive deep into the world of venues, tours, festivals, and everything in between. Grab your laminate and meet us in Venueland.
For today's adventure, we're staying in a state that I'm pretty comfortable with. Yeah, we're talking about Ohio, and we're heading down to the Cincinnati area. We're talking with a guest who's spent his entire professional career pretty much in one venue or another. So a very unique adventure today, and a friend of yours, Paul. So I'll allow you to introduce our guest today.
Yes, absolutely. We are joined by Tim Murray, and full disclosure, Tim and I went to college together a number of years ago, probably like 20 years at this point, which is crazy to think about. But yes, many, many moons ago. And we're going to talk to him about his current role with as being the athletic trainer with the Cincinnati Cyclones, which is the pro hockey team in Cincinnati that plays at Heritage Bank Arena, but also about his other roles he's had, some advocacy he's done, maybe about some of his competing that he's done, which I know you've done so much, and kind of just learn all about everything about Tim Murray, the Tim Murray I know and love.
The Tim Murray experience.
The Tim Murray experience. So, Tim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea of the Tim Murray experience because I'm pretty sure that was also like our intramural basketball team name in college at one point.
That may be right. That may be right.
I think
Well, let's start off by telling us a little bit about the Cincinnati Cyclones.
So the Cincinnati Cyclones, they're a minor league hockey team here in Cincinnati. They're part of the ECHL, basically double A for the NHL. So we're two steps below the NHL. So we're going to see a lot of guys coming down from Toronto, who was our affiliate, to just get some experience at the professional level. Maybe they're a young kid coming out of juniors or even college, and they're trying to make it big. It's like everybody at this level, they're trying to make it big. So we see people from all walks of life. Like, it's a fun trip, like fun gig. Glad I took it a couple years back. I get to see the world. I get to see the country. And I love what I do, just helping guys stay healthy or, help them get back to being healthy and playing and at a high level.
It's got to be interesting, I would think, being an athletic trainer with people who tend to be younger in their careers, right? And you would probably be able to speak to this. I don't want to, put words in your mouth, but I would think people younger in their careers are a little more likely to be a little more reckless with their bodies, maybe, and also might need just more education on how to do things properly, how to do things post game, whether it's icing or things like that. They just might not know that, depending on where they're coming from or whether they went to certain colleges or whatever it was, but it's got to be a little different.
Oh yeah. Nowadays, what's nice nowadays is most of these kids already have a bit of a background because they're not getting to this level without something, whether they went to college, they learned from their athletic trainer in college, or if they're in juniors, they've had. A lot of these guys are friends with guys in the NHL. They grew up playing with them. They learn from them. But it's just as far as recovery goes, even they're teaching me a thing or two, which is nice because it's the way the sport, everything's growing nowadays. I'd rather have it firsthand versus reading it and then learning it from somebody who's probably never actually done it. But, it's more of the seeing it from them and then just helping them become pros, essentially. Just because you're 21 years old doesn't mean that, in 5 years you're going to be able to just leave the game, shower up, head home. You got to properly fuel, hydrate, stretch, roll out, whatever it might be. So
Well, and to probably try to extend your career, right? I think that's the thing too, is like
Yeah,
you may feel great right now and feel like you don't need to do this, but this in the long run, many years forward, is going to make you be able to play this game you love so much that much longer.
exactly. Like we have a guy on our team now, our captain actually. He's 30, he'll be 36 during this season. He's been playing since he was 18 years old. College, well, he played college, juniors, so like he's been around the game for a long time. So, that's a guy that they look up to, listen to, because he's seen it all. He's been through the hard, like the highs, the lows, like ending a season early because of injury. Like he's done it all, and he's like just great guy to listen to, which helps me because he's the voice in the locker room where they
Right?
look at me and they're like, "You don't know what you're talking about," and I'm like, "Well, I just went to school for all this, but whatever."
Yeah, exactly. And then he can back you up and be like, actually, what he's telling you to do is how you keep
Yeah,
playing to my age, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the venue you guys play in.
Oh, the Heritage Bank Center. It's 50 years old. So built in like the late 60s, early 70s, I think. Holds about 12 to 13,000 depending on what's going on at the venue. And just like any old venue, like she has, kind of her nice quirks to her, but also like she's old and
And storied. It feels like too, like there's a lot of like tours that will sometimes open in
yep,
Cincinnati. I remember I've come up and seen, I think, the Black Keys when they opened a tour there. There's been, you're right in that it's kind of one of these classic venues that's been around for a while, so it has some of that personality.
yep,
But it is Cincinnati's arena, right? Like I think there is another one, I forget what the name of it is, where Xavier plays maybe, but it is really the primary arena. It's down on that, right on the river, right next to Great American Ballpark, right next to, the football stadium, just really like all of them kind of right there in a row, which is kind of somewhat unique to Cincinnati.
So obviously you've gotten to travel to a lot of venues around the country. So do you have a favorite that you visited?
that's a good question. I mean, I would probably say maybe like Utah, where the Grizzlies play. They're out there. They're like a 45-minute drive from Salt Lake, I think, 30, 45 minutes. Like it's newish. I know they played half of the like Olympics, Winter Olympics there when Salt Lake held it in what, 2002, I think. But I mean, the other ones like are so old and like kind of. I base my arena favorites off of how my room looks when we're there.
Yeah, I was going to ask because obviously, being in hockey like you are, obviously you see a lot of different venues, and some better than others. So what makes a great venue for you?
For me, my favorite part about the venue is like when I get there and I know I have a solid room that these guys can kind of get treated well in. Sometimes Wheeling is their big one. The West Banco Arena, like it's not a horrible place, but like I share it with my coaches, my room with my coaches. So like guys aren't really tempted to come in and like get treatment because nobody wants to show coach that they've got something going on. Um, like because then the coach is going to ask 20 questions of what's wrong, what's happening, can you still play, can you do this, can you do
Sure,
that,
sure,
and also like guys are hesitant to say anything because coach is there and they don't want to be seen as like quote unquote soft.
sure,
Just
sure.
that's the generation we're growing up in now a bit, is they don't want to be seen as soft, but also like they understand that they need to be taken care of in order to prolong their career, keep playing, and like eventually, hopefully for them, get that call up to the next level.
I guess what is kind of a day in the life of you when you are at a game, whether it's home or I'm assuming home in a way is a little different, but also probably somewhat similar. Like the game time, you kind of know how early you need to get there. What's kind of a typical, day for you?
Like you mentioned, home is a home game is definitely different. Like I have to set everything up for both and the visitors. Depending, what's nice, like, is our division is so close that most of the time the teams come in like day of the game, so they're showing up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever, depending on the game time. So a lot of the stuff for them can wait until the afternoon. But if they're there for, like, let's say they've come in on Friday and then Saturday, like I'm there at 7 a.m. I get my stuff set up, I get the visitor stuff set up, and then our guys will come in the morning, skate, like do a morning skate, basically like our batting practice, if you will.
Sure.
Good little test for them to see. And let's say they're dealing with something. Can I go tonight? Yes, no. Or like just to kind of shake the rust off, like get the soreness out a little bit, just get a few touches. So that way when they go into the game, they're not completely cold. But yeah, then they'll leave for the afternoon and visitors will come on the ice, do their thing. They'll leave and then I'll kind of get the rest of the stuff set up. By that time, it's about 2 o'clock or so. I'll leave 1:32, depending. I'll leave and I'll go work out, do whatever, and then be back in the arena by 4 to continue getting things set up for the rest of the evening, like our cold tubs, hot tub, getting the benches set up with the coolers of water, ice, put the bottles out, get the penalty boxes set up. So I mean, it's a full day
Yeah.
on a home game, especially. Like on an away game, it's not as much just because I don't have to do all the other stuff. The
Sure.
setting up of the coolers, the tubs, like that's done by the home team. So
If their guy knows what he's doing, right?
yeah.
It's got to be too, I think. I mean, you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but like with hockey too, we're not talking about, I mean, every sport is athletic, certainly, and
Yeah.
all kind of use different muscles, but not every sport is as aggressive, maybe, as hockey. Maybe football, rugby, some others, but if you're watching a hockey game, you're seeing people pound other people into just everywhere. It's a very intense type of sport,
Yep.
and I would imagine certainly they're wearing equipment to hopefully help with that. But it probably means you do get a lot of guys that are bruised up, banged up, pretty frequently throughout the season. Even if it doesn't mean they can't play, they still are probably nursing some sore muscles, some sore joints or something, maybe more than some of the other sports would be. And is that kind of something that is a unique challenge? Do you sort of like that challenge with hockey that maybe you wouldn't have gotten in another sport?
Yeah, it keeps me on my toes for sure. Like that's kind of what I enjoy the most about it. Is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love baseball. I worked in baseball for a couple summers, but like I prefer to sit and watch a baseball game versus like actually working it, because
Sure.
when you're working it, like sure, nothing happens 90%, 99% of the time in a baseball game, but like still a guy goes into the wall, like you're like, are you getting up? Like, are you okay? Like as the
Yeah.
athletic trainer, but like as a fan, you're just like, oh, sweet, sick catch, or like good
Right.
try. Like
Right.
yeah, but hockey, it's like you know what you're getting into. Like even as a fan, you're watching, you're like, oh, is that guy okay? Like after a big hit or you know blocking a shot or whatever. Like you said, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like, and that's what makes it the most fun, I think, is that it's not the same thing every day. It's not like with baseball, you're going to have a shoulder injury or an elbow injury from everybody that throws a baseball that they're not supposed to be throwing as many times as they do because the body's not supposed to do that.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
it's not those overused things. It's you took a funky hit into the boards, like what
Yeah.
on, like what hurts, what motions hurt. So
That actually brings up something that's kind of fascinating, and I know everyone that might work in marketing, right? We can't turn off our venue marketing brains. I'm not even as much in the weeds as I used to be, and still to this day, if I go to a concert at an arena, I'm looking at ribbon boards, I'm looking at entry and exit. Like I can't turn off that
Oh, you're
kind
looking
of
at how the
like
guest attendants are seating
Oh,
people.
it's like it's just always going. I'm almost trying to problem solve for the venue as if I work there. Like I'm like, oh, this is backed up. I wonder if they were to open up this other. So is that similar with you where like can you turn off that athletic trainer side of your brain to where if you're watching a baseball game on TV maybe or on, watching a hockey game, are you like can you not help yourself and be like, oh my gosh, I bet they, bruised their elbow there. Or, ooh, I saw their athletic trainer in this hockey
It's a
game
great
wrapped
question.
it up, but like, did they did the wrong wrap or something? Are there things that you kind of like, you have that kind of like squirrel in your brain that's running around that you can't stop thinking about it?
Uh, yes and no. Like it's more of the when a big thing happens, like Tyreek Hill the other day. Like it's that type of stuff that I look
Sure.
at more so than anything. I'm like, oh, it was definitely this, and then like usually what'll happen is my friends or family will be like, no, it's not, and then it comes back, yeah, it was that. So like, listen to me. But I mean, as far as like some of the other stuff, not so much. I try and diagnose an injury, from the TV, not having my hands on it. When Damar Hamlin went down here in Cincy on that Monday Night Football game,
Yeah.
um, everyone started blowing my phone up, like, "What's wrong with him? What do you think happened?" I'm like, "I have
Oh
zero
yeah, you're
idea
like
because
the de
I'm not there."
facto athletic trainer of everyone.
Yeah,
So they're like, "What do you think? How can yeah? What is the latest? Am I supposed to bench him in my fantasy league? Tell me, Tim.
yeah,
Tell me."
yeah, pretty much. But I mean, like, it happens, but not like all the time. Like in a
Sure.
game, if I go and like to a venue and I watch, like again, same thing. Like if something happens and it's a big deal, like as in like everybody and their mom comes out to the field to check on the guy, like then I kind of pops in my head. But for the most part, it's just like I'm able to turn it off to the point that I can actually enjoy the game.
That's good. I'm
Yeah, for
I'm
me, I
learning
know
how to
like
do
when I
that.
go, we're so used to walking photographers for the first three songs, and then leaving the show. I find that when I go to the concert as a fan, I cannot cheer. I just don't. For the first three songs, I'm almost always very stoic, and then like it takes a little while for me to let that music hit me,
Sure.
like it used to. Hey, how did you guys become friends? I want to hear this story.
I mean, we went to college together, so I think
You lived on the same floor as like
yeah.
all of my friends from back home.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, from my perspective, I didn't room with someone I knew previously. I didn't try to get in a certain dorm with someone I knew previously. So I just kind of took the random draw when I went to Eastern Kentucky University. And it just so happened that my room was right next to Nick and Chaz, who knew Tim for years and grew up with Tim. And then, I started hanging out with them because they were like, our dorm room neighbors, and met Tim through that, met another friend of ours, Kyle, through that. And then just kind of, we kind of stuck together and, often like, and then I think Kyle moved up onto our floor. Tim moved up onto our floor. So at one point, like all that friend group kind of all nested on that one floor of the dorm. And it became kind of just this, college dorm floor housing all of us, which was pretty fun.
So, Tim, obviously, you went and got your degree in your Bachelor of Sciences athletic training. What made you want to get into that field?
People laugh at this because most of the time it's usually like, they were in high school, they got injured, like, they worked with their athletic trainer
Right.
to some extent. Like, it's usually 90% of the time. But mine was, I always wanted to be around sports and I always wanted to be on the field. Like, I didn't want to be up in a front office, like behind a desk. Like, I didn't want that role because it just wasn't fun for me. So I was like trying to think of things that could get me on the field, be around the athletes, like be part of the team. And being a big Reds fan, Ken Griffey Jr. came to town back in 2000, and like he had one great year with us, and then every year after that, kind of he's playing well, but then he would get hurt, and I just wanted to be the guy that like got him back on the field. And so I
Yeah.
was like, you know what, baseball, sports, like I'm around the guys, and I can also like I love helping people, so that was like kind of my way of doing it was working in athletic training and Ken Griffey Jr. wanted to get him back on the field.
And you went and got your master's in human development and leadership. How did that help you?
Well, the degree actually doesn't really help me other than I have my master's, but my time at Murray was spent more like as a graduate assistant. So it was kind of a time when, the economy wasn't great. There weren't a whole lot of jobs. So I went down there to do a grad assistantship. I got to work with the baseball and softball teams and like helped with football and whatever various small sports were going on that needed some coverage when my main sports weren't doing anything. So they offered me the position down at Murray, basically paid for my master's degree and, you know, went from there.
Did that allow you to kind of sample out some different sports? Because certainly, I mean, you mentioned baseball kind of inspired you to join it, but you're obviously in hockey now, and even within the field of athletic training, even on the team side, there's so many different pro sports, right? And collegiate sports. Like, what kind of were you able to kind of touch a bunch of different ones at Murray that made you, figure out maybe ones you liked more than others?
Uh, Sort of. Like, I mean, small schools like Murray, like, you have your main sports, so your money sports, so which are mainly basketball and football. So like those are covered by full-time staff athletic trainers. But like also if they got sick or anything and needed some help covering, then like, we would go and just sit in on a practice or whatever. It wouldn't be anything too crazy because most of the time at that point they all know what they're doing and all that fun stuff. But I mean, other than that, like it was mainly football, baseball, softball, a touch of basketball, like more so, again, just helping out, maybe even like working camps and stuff. But I wouldn't say that I got a bunch of experience in different sports. I got experience kind of working on my own, but also
Sure.
having a safety net in case something went crazy.
Yeah.
Coming out of undergrad, like I got to work at different locations and help there, but like it still wasn't my final call. Like some of our clinical instructors or like the athletic trainers we worked under and trained under, like they kind of gave us somewhat of free reign, but like some of those people had been there for years. So like these kids
Yeah.
are like, we know that they know what they're doing, and you're literally my age. So like, why would I listen to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it gave you some autonomy and kind of some yeah, people sort of knew to trust your word and
Yeah,
think, I think that's important kind of as you're growing in your career, any career, really.
correct. So I mean, that helped me get that, and like make me feel a little more comfortable in my own skin and my knowledge of what I needed to do.
You came out of your scholastic adventures, and then you spent some time. I want to say on the rehabilitation and the hospital side. Talk to us about before you got involved in with the Cyclones and the venues, kind of your career path from Harrison Memorial Hospital to doing physical therapy.
So that was more like that was my first real big kid job, I guess is like the way I would describe it.
Yeah,
Um, Coming out of school again, the economy wasn't great, jobs weren't really there. Like a lot of transitions from doctors' offices. I don't want to say closing, but maybe merging with other places, like schools going whichever way to get their
sure.
athletic training needs. But so I had some friends that lived in the Lexington area, Central Kentucky, I guess. And they had an opening at Paris High School for an athletic trainer. And I just threw my name in the hat, got the job, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And I was trying to get out of there as quickly as I could, not because I didn't like what I was doing, but it's because it's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do more of the collegiate setting, thinking that that's exactly what I wanted. So a couple applications later, I realized that the money at the collegiate setting is not great. It's
Sure.
actually
Yeah.
being offered $4,000 to $5,000 less money to work twice as much, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's just kind of stupid of me to do that. Like, but so I was at Paris, ended up there for 5 years, and then I got a phone call to move back home, take in more money, and living at home with all where literally my entire life was. Like I was
Sure.
commuting every weekend home just to hang out with everybody. It's only an hour, but still, like when you're an hour away and your job doesn't end until 9 o'clock, 9:30, especially on a Friday, like everybody's done by that point.
Sure.
So took the job back home, and that opened up some avenues to work in professional sports because Novacare Rehabilitation, who I worked for at the time, moving back up here, they had the contract with the Florence Freedom, the minor league, the independent team here in town, and then slash Y'alls now, um,
Yeah, Florence Yowles.
Florence Y'alls, and then the Cyclones. So it just kind of all it's not luck. It's luck in the sense of timing that these jobs opened up, but also like it's the hard work that I put in to like get to the spot and like
Damn
get
right.
Sure. Yeah. Luck meets preparation or whatever that phrase is, where it's, like you prepare yourself for the moment and put yourself in that position. And then when opportunity strikes, you're prepared and confident and able to pursue it.
so I said just the timing of everything was the lucky part. The everything else was just me and my hard work and dedication to what I do.
All right. Speaking of hard work, let's talk about this CrossFit stuff because I know this has become a big piece of your life. So talk to us about what you have going on with CrossFit. And again, this also is taking you to some different venues, right?
Yeah. So CrossFit just came around like became part of my life after COVID. I'd always been some kind of competitor, whether it was with the DAAA, which is the Dwarf Athletic Association of America, competing there in different sports every summer, trying out for the U.S. Paralympic track and field team. And, I've ventured into different things, but I love being a competitor. And I just needed something more than going to Crunch Fitness and like lifting some weights. And in 2021, CrossFit announced that they were going to have a short stature division, like an adaptive side, so
Yeah.
disabled athlete side. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this is where I need to go. And I started training at Crunch still, like, because I was like, I'm not joining another gym, spending this kind of crazy money when I got $20 membership here. But
Yeah.
I was following a program from somebody else and fell in love with it. Did my first open workout in 2022, and that's when I fell in love with the community because I was like, this is the most crazy thing I've ever seen. Everybody's shooting for the same goals, but like also hyping each other up. Whereas, like, you go to a Crunch or Planet Fitness or any of those, like, everybody's got their headphones in, everybody's doing their own thing. Like, nobody's really talking. And I was like, this is like, we're here to be social, but we're also like being super antisocial.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I not only did it, but I succeeded the first year. I won my division.
Nice.
I won it the next year after that. And then the past 2 years, I finished runner up.
That's awesome.
To the same guy, like you have a rival.
Yeah, sort of.
But it's more supportive than that, right? Like kind of to your point, I'm sure you all are competitive, but you're also probably like excited to see other people succeed.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's fun to watch and like have be out there. Like we're putting ourselves through some crazy ass workout. So it's just like I'm laying on the ground like dying, trying to breathe, and I'm like trying to high five people at the same time. I'm just like I look like a beached whale right now. But yeah, good job, buddy.
Right, right. Tim, I know you mentioned competing and these different events and whatnot, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up a lot of advocacy that you've done around dwarfism and it being October, it's Dwarfism Awareness Month. And I know, I've seen on your social media really year round, but certainly even more so in October, you really are a huge advocate for that community awareness. Could you tell us kind of about your efforts there and sort of what your what your passion is in that?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's a huge thing of mine. I live the life. It's not just me like having a sibling or somebody like that, a family member that's got dwarfism. I'm trying to advocate for them. Like I live the life of a dwarf. Like achondroplasia is the type of dwarfism I have, which is the most common form of the 300 some odd types of dwarfism. That number keeps growing. Like I feel like 5 years ago it was only 200, and now like we have 300 different types of dwarfism. Each comes with their own unique, we'll call it challenges. They each comes with their unique challenges. So like for me, the most common issues that would arise from dwarfism or my dwarfism is spinal stenosis, so a narrowing of the spinal column, pushing on the spinal cord. Hydrocephalus, which is basically swelling in the brain or in the skull on the brain, which causes some neuropathy, so issues with the nerves, maybe some weakness in the hands, feet, legs, whatever. But then there's others that like need to be on a tube, a breathing tube, and not necessarily a ventilator, but like they show on the smoking commercials now, like the people with the
Yeah.
Right.
button thingy on their throat. Some people need that. Some people need assistance walking, whether it's a walker, wheelchair, getting around, being mobile. So, it's just seeing all that and then living the life. And then, like Peter Dinklage kind of says it best. I actually posted the quote today. He's like, dwarfs are the last bastion of acceptable prejudice. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter skin color, age, height, nationality, race, whatever. Like, I'm getting made fun of. Like, people are commenting, people are saying things, like doing all this stuff. It's just things like that. So it's just trying to advocate for the people who can't advocate for themselves, whether it
Sure.
be don't have the platform, the voice, like the support. Like I have the support system that allows me to be a net, like to advocate. Like it's not just me doing it. Sure, I'm the one posting, but like because of my friends, because of my family, because of everybody else in my life, like I'm able to do it because I have the foundation that if I were to quote unquote be knocked down, I'm going to be built right back up.
Sure. And a lot of people may not have that, really, to your
Exactly.
point, unfortunately.
So, I mean, depending, obviously, like you go into I mean, being from Kentucky, Paul, like, you know how it is down in the rural parts of the country or the state.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to say things because they don't live outside of their bubble. Like, they've never been outside
Sure.
of it. And, they have the micro wrestling, things like that. And it's just, they think that's all that dwarfs are is for entertainment.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just trying to prove that that's not the case. Like, we can do other things. Like, I work in professional hockey as an athletic trainer. Like, and these guys listen to me. Like, they trust me. Not
Yeah.
just, but they trust me to take care of them. So, proving that we can be there and do what we need to do.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's really great that you do, you have this platform that you've built
Amen.
from all the many, you and I were talking about this when we were catching up, but like how we fill all of our free time, have this knack of filling our free time with anything and everything and finding new hobbies. But I think, one of the great things about that is it has helped build a platform for you, and then you've been able to sort of utilize it to help educate a lot of people, which I think even people at their best probably need a lot of education on it, you
Oh
know?
yeah, 100%. I mean, even I'm learning. I'm still learning things. Like, we go back to working with these kids in hockey, like teaching them things that they should be doing now, so that way later on down the road, it's helping them. Things that I should have been doing then are now biting me in the butt now.
Sure, sure.
So it's like, especially physically, like the body's just, I can't do what I used to do. I have to like do my warm up takes me 45 minutes just to get
Here,
the
here.
Yeah, I was going to say part of that is just being the age we've gotten to,
yeah.
unfortunately. I feel that myself.
Yeah. So,
Tim, if somebody wanted to, learn more, or find out how they can, better support some of the causes that you're an advocate for, what is there? I know it's the simplest thing, right? But is there a website you recommend or someplace we can go to, learn more?
yeah, the Little People of America, I think it's lpaonline.org they're the biggest advocate for little people in the United States. They're going to have a ton of resources on their website to be able to find things like you said, like they have all the docs and stuff available ready to go to help them. But or if like say I need some help like specifically, I can go there, find a doc and close by. But as far as that one goes, they're available. Wheelwad.com is not just for dwarfism, but like all adaptive fitness is what is how we're
Sure.
rolling. They have our adaptive fitness side of things. And then there's numerous websites throughout the country or the world, just like available, like resources. I can't list them all because I
Yeah,
don't know
sure.
if everybody actually has a website. 'Cause now
Yeah,
everything's
yeah,
on social media anymore, so like
Yeah.
that's where everything's listed most of the time. But
sure.
those are the two big ones I would say as far as just getting into the realm.
We've talked a lot about your career and your activism, but I know that we talked about Paul about how filling that free time. But when you do get a little bit of free time, tell me about who you get to be at home and what you like to do to relax when you have that time to yourself.
Um, when I have some free time, it's mainly spent with my dog,
Yeah.
who requires a lot of attention.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a German Shepherd mix. I think he's mixed with, they said lab, but they weren't 100% sure. They think it was the neighbor dog that got mom pregnant. They think. But I mean, he's just tons of energy, a big ball of energy. Even at 5 years old, he just turned 5 back in May. But I mean, I love it. Like, I wouldn't change anything, wouldn't change it for the world. Because, like, if it wasn't for him, like, we've seen lots of the area, Cincinnati area, just from our walks and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
I had
Yeah.
no idea existed until I was like, let's go this way and walk this direction and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, you just follow the river and you can get back to pretty much anything. Like, so it's kind of cool. I enjoy it. And then, my girlfriend just moved in with me from California and she brought her dog. So they're getting along great,
Good. Good.
but they're also not playing the way I was hoping they would to wear each other out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, come on, dude, like go play with her. Like get worn
Right.
out. You don't
They'll
need
get
me.
there. They'll get there.
Yeah. So but I mean they get along great. Like it's just like I said, still trying to figure out how each other plays. Like I kind of when they start, like it's kind of like the scene in Step Brothers after the Catalina wine mixer when they're trying to hug each other and they don't know how to do it. That's kind of the vibe I get. Is like, can I do this? I don't know. Maybe.
That's great. Well, hey, thank you for sharing that with us, and good luck. Moving in with someone you're dating is one challenge, but when you both have pets, it becomes a whole a whole
Oh
different
yeah.
story. Hey, before we wrap things up, I want to hit you with our fast five. It's just five quick questions, looking for your short, immediate response. First up, do you remember the first pro sports game you got to attend in person?
Ooh.
Oh man. Very vaguely, and all I can remember was a major league. It was a Reds game. I don't remember
Reds
who they were
game.
playing or anything like that. It was a Reds game. I know that for sure.
Do you have a favorite game you've been to?
Favorite game? Probably Bengals Monday Night Football whiteout. 2 years ago against the Rams. It was kind
Nice.
of like a makeup. It was like the year after the Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
So that was I'd probably say that one.
Yeah.
Cincinnati chili, yes or no?
Skyline, yes.
Damn right.
Skyline. He comes with the brand too, even.
Yep.
All right. You're feeling run down from a long day at work or maybe CrossFit. What's your favorite recovery meal?
Oh, good
Ooh.
question. I'm probably gonna go with some kind of pasta because it's easy to make and ready to go.
Last question. What's your theme song? So there's a reality TV show all about you and your life, and cameras follow you around. What's the song that plays over the opening credits of the Tim Murray Experience?
Man, I'd say probably like it's my life be like ooh ah. I think that's what it's like. Actually, like in parentheses, it's the ooh ah. I can't remember who
Wow.
sings it though. I would say that's probably that would be it.
Nice.
I love it. Hey, if somebody wants to reach out to you or follow along with the Cyclones, like throw out any plugs here you want to throw out.
So I got my social media, my Instagram's tatertot1195. If you want to follow along on the Cyclones, it's Cincy Cyclones, just on all of the socials. So Twitter or X, whatever they call it nowadays, Facebook, and then Instagram.
Well, hey, I really appreciate your time here today, and Paul, probably good for you catching up with a friend too, right?
Yeah, yeah, we
Oh
don't
yeah,
see each other enough, but
nah,
it's good to catch up, every now and then.
yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Thanks for reaching out, Paul.
Of course.
Well, and a big thanks to everybody for listening to this episode of Adventures in Venueland. Remember, you can subscribe and find more episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We do love your 5-star reviews because it helps others find us. Until the next adventure, I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Do you see they're doing Skyline Chili ice cream?
Oh my
Yeah,
God, I did
I
see
tried
that
it.
with
It's not
Graders,
bad.
which
It's
is
not
another
bad.
Cincinnati brand. I don't know. Adventures in Venueland is a side project of the Event and Venue Marketing Conference, a marketing conference that brings together diversified event and venue professionals to cultivate education, collaboration, and innovation for the growing sports and live entertainment industry. Find out more at eventvenuemarketing.com.
Audio editing and mixing by Camille Faulkner.
Design and digital advertising by Megan Ebeck.
Copywriting and publicity by Samantha Marker.
Guest booking and brand strategies by Paul Hooper.
Guest research by Dave Rettelberger.
Marketing strategies by Paul Hooper, Megan Ebeck, and Samantha Marker. Thanks for joining us. Until the next adventure.